Hi guys, it is Thursday of week 6, and remember, tomorrow we will not have a language Zoom because we are going to be honoring our moms, and we're going to be honoring the mother figures in our life. And we will at 10 o'clock jump on to a Zoom meeting for the whole school and watch it. And you'll hopefully later on today have a box delivered to your house, and you'll be able to celebrate with your family. But today, let's go ahead and get on to language. It's going to be fairly short, just like yesterday's lesson. But if you've been doing the steps, it's going to make it a lot easier when next week you have to turn in your book review. So today, we're going to be doing proofreading. And we're going to be on page 185, 186. So have that available. And you probably need a pencil. You do need a pencil. Page 185, 186. Okay, so today we're talking about proofreading. And remember yesterday when I did the lesson and I was like, wait, that's spelled wrong. Wait, that should be capitalized. Well, that's a proofreading thing. And by nature, I am an editor. Like, I can see the mistakes written. Like, when I read a book, I'm like, oh, that's spelled wrong. Oh, I don't like that. But I'm just an editor by nature. I don't know why, but when I see someone else's writing, I'm like, wait, that should be this or this should be that. When I do my own writing, it's a lot harder. So proofreading is for someone like me because I see my own writing and I have a hard time finding the mistakes, but it can be done. And you guys are going to be able to do it too. So let's look at the top of page 185. It says, after Hudson had finished revising his book review like you did yesterday, he proofread it using the checklist on the next page. He read his book review several times. Read it out loud, okay? Looking for only one or two types of mistakes each time. He placed a check mark beside each item on the list as he finished checking it. This is super important to do. Here is Hudson's book review with the corrections he marked on it during the proofreading stage. What mistakes did he find? Which proofreading mark did he use to correct each mistake? Well, let's look at this. The first mistake that he found was that dog should have been capitalized because every important word in a title is capitalized. And when you guys write your Trouble at Silver Pines Inn, it should look like this, and it's going to be underlined. Trouble at, capital at, Silver Pines Inn. And that's capital I. And this will be underlined. So that is what yours should look like when you write your title. So please, please, please make it look like that. Okay. Second paragraph. Watson is a German Shepherd. Remember, this is a proper noun, German, so it should be capitalized. So we kept reading, and he did a really good job on this second paragraph, but he spelled the word tragedy wrong. Now, let's say you don't know how to spell it. What could you do? You can look it in a dictionary. You could say, hey, I'm not going to say it because it's going to pop up on me, S-I-R-I. How do you spell this, right? You can say, hey, how do you spell this? And you guys can have the word spelled for you. Or, hey, mom, hey, dad, how do you spell this, right? You have several options, so you can know how to spell those words. Although there was one sad part I did not like, I enjoyed the book overall. One thing I like about the book is the way the author tells the story from Watson's. This is possessive. Whose point of view? Watson's point of view. So it has to have an apostrophe S. It is interesting. A lot of people spell interesting this way, I-N-T-R-E-S-T-I-N-G. But interesting is actually interesting. Interesting. Kind of a weird little spelling thing. Okay, next page. The sentence, and I had a hard time reading this yesterday because I knew it wasn't correct, but it said, him and his friends all have their own personalities. Well, we don't want to start with an object pronoun or we want to start with a subject pronoun. So we would say he and his friends. Him is an object pronoun, and that goes in something like an object of the preposition or a direct object, and not as a subject of a sentence. So he and his friends all have their own personalities. Change the Y to an I and add your suffix, right? Comma, and they remind me of some of my friends. We have to have that comma and coordinating conjunction in there. He also noticed that he didn't, what? he didn't tab or he didn't indent the second paragraph or the last paragraph, excuse me. So it's important that you indent every single paragraph. But I want you guys to see something. Do you see the distance between the two paragraphs? It's not double space in between the two paragraphs. So it's just a one space and then indented, okay? And when I show you how to set it up, then I'll go over that one more time. And so at the bottom it says, even if you're, it's not Y-O-U-R, it's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. You're not. A dog named Watts in the story you'll never forget. So he found quite a few errors even after he revised. Now, if you guys were looking yesterday in your revision and you found spelling errors, bravo, excellent job. Okay, but I want you to read this, what's called with a fine-tooth comb. And let's see the areas that we need to look at. So we're at the bottom of page 186, and we're gonna look at this proofreading checklist. Now, what Hudson did was read the paper and only look for one or two things at a time. Great idea. Okay, so let's look at 1 and 2. It says, I wrote the title of my book correctly. Well, that's kind of like an obvious, let's look, right? A title of my book, underlined, and I showed you guys how to write it. I indented paragraphs correctly. So when he read, he looked for the title of the book underlined, and he looked for paragraph indentation done correctly. So those are the two things he would do. Like these are the two he would do the first time he read around. Then the second, I used pronouns correctly. Instead of saying him and I, we would say he and I, right? Our subject pronouns where subject pronouns go, our object pronouns where object pronouns go. So that would be something you would look for. And then I put a capital letter at the beginning of each sentence. That could be something that you look for at the same time as looking for the right pronouns. And then we could put the last 3 in, so you can read this 3 times. I put a punctuation mark at the end of each sentence. Hopefully we're doing that, right? That's super, like 100%, gotta have that in 5th grade. I use correct punctuation within each sentence, and I look for misspelled words. So a minimum of 3 times you should be reading your paper or your book review. The first time, look for your title of your book and your paragraphs written or indented. Second time you read it, look for pronouns used correctly. Look for capital letters at the beginning of each sentence and punctuation mark at the end of each sentence. When I read it, guys, literally when I read my paper, let's look at this last, I would go, capital I would highly recommend this book to anyone who likes animals or adventure stories, period. Capital if, so I would read it like that, so that way I know that that capital is there and that punctuation is there. And then the last time you read it around, I just said that, punctuation mark at the end of each sentence, correct punctuation within sentences, and misspelled words. And then make sure that you're using your proofreading marks, these things right here. Okay, so your assignment tonight is to proofread your book review. If you, let's say, because remember, you've only written this one time already. You've only done the revision one time, or not the revision, the drafting one time. Yesterday you revised, but you did not have to rewrite it. Today you're not rewriting. All you're doing is going through. So let's say yesterday you used a green pen for your revision. Today, use a blue pen for your proofreading, or vice versa. Use 2 different colors, one for revision and one for proofreading, okay? And when you're done, send Mrs. Rossini or send me a picture. And I will put my email up one more time. It's shauna.rossini@Christian, CHRISTIAN, unified, UNIFIED.org. Now, your guys' emails are g.christianunified.org. I don't check that one very often. So please send yours to christianunified.org. Okay, guys, tomorrow, no meeting, okay? You're going to enjoy the day. Just like our normal Mother's Day tea, you get the whole day off, and tomorrow you get the whole day off, but you're going to spend it with your family. And we'll come back Monday and we'll work more on our book review. We'll see you Monday. Bye.